Welcome back. You're watching Power Talks. We are in conversation with the Malaysian Ambassador to Nepal, His Excellency DATO ILANKOVAN KOLANDAVELU. During the recent job cuts in many Malaysian industries, migrant workers were sent back to their countries like Bangladesh and other countries, but Nepali workers were allowed to continue. Any specific reason for this special favor?
I think in terms of bilateral relations, we have a very soft spot for Nepal. This is partly in recognition of the bold and brave Nepalis, especially Gurkhas, who served in Malaysia in the 50s and 60s and 70s in the maintenance of peace and security in Malaysia. Some of them, they have given up their lives, in the course of their duty, and some of them have been injured. I think we take note of that, so we always consider Nepal as a close friend.
The remittance that the Nepali workers bring from Malaysia is very huge. It's 11% of the total budget.
Yeah.
And most of the amount that they bring goes to the rural parts of Nepal because that's where they come from. Has our government ever acknowledged this contribution?
I've been here 3 years, Santokh Shah, but I'm not sure whether the government has really acknowledged that, because we have not seen tangibly. But I think I'm sure they are aware of it, But it's rather strange, sometimes when the government wanted to consult the international community, it always the donor countries and the two the big neighbors, and we will occasionally we will call, but most of the time we are left out. So it's very strange, So there's a tendency, But we have raised this issue with the Chief of Protocol. But let's hope, So because I think Malaysia too is a very important country among the developing worlds. In fact, we are in the forefront of the developing world, and we have highlighted many international issues that affect the developing world. So I hope, that we will also be included.
Would that attitude change if Malaysia had a donor agency attached to it and provided money straight to the government and not necessarily directly to the people?
Perhaps, because very interestingly, when I met one of the former prime ministers, he mentioned to me, that he has not seen me during interaction with donor countries. So I mentioned that Malaysia is not a donor country. I also mentioned to him that Malaysia accommodates 500,000 Nepalis, and they send US 500 million annually to Nepal. And also we have what is called a Malaysian Technical Cooperation Programs. This is capacity building and human resource development in the government sector. So over the years, we have almost 25 years, we have trained about 500 Nepali government officials, and some of them has become now secretaries.
Malaysia is a success story when it comes to tourism, and Nepal has natural assets to develop tourism, but we are still struggling with it. How can we utilize the expertise and technical supports from Malaysia to raise the tourism sector of Nepal?
In 1997, when we had the Asian financial crisis, we have only about 5 million tourists visiting Malaysia. But last year there was 24.8 million. So I think it's a tremendous growth in the tourism sector. I think Nepal has to look at Malaysia, how we organize our Visit Malaysia year. So we had a big campaign. So I'm sure you have seen the TVs, Malaysia Truly Asia.
Malaysia Truly Asia.
I think it's a very successful campaign. And in fact, it's so successful, we wanted to keep the tagline to continue for many years to come.
I think it sounds very good.
Many years to come. And I think when we do our promotion, international promotion, the government works very closely with the private sector, whether it's hoteliers or tour agents and other important players. So we undertake a joint promotion to overseas, and we jointly promote the country. And also we allocate a big budget for tourism promotion. So much so, tourism has become the biggest revenue earner for Malaysia, not petroleum or manufactured goods, tourism. And I think we have shared our experience and expertise with Nepal. But 2 years ago, we have taken a big delegation from Nepal, led by the Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, together with officials from Ministry of Tourism. So we have shared our experience and knowledge, and in areas as how we have promoted Malaysia as a tourist destination. And we also taken him to Malacca, the whole tour delegation we have taken to Malacca. Malacca is a very interesting place. It's less than 1 million people, but last year about 8 million people have visited Malacca, and it has no natural resources. So in fact, the Chief Minister himself briefed the delegation how we are able to develop Malacca as an important tourist destination in Malaysia. So we have also sent in the expert in the form of Dr. Victor Wee. He used to be the former Secretary General or Ministry of Tourism, Malaysia, and is now the Secretary General of International UN Tourism Council. I think he has shared a lot of experience. I think Nepal should look towards more towards the immediate neighbors, and particularly Southeast Asia and Asia. I think the big markets are here, next to your doors. China, India, Southeast Asia, Japan, and East Asia too. Japan, South Korea. I think the people are becoming very prosperous. I think they have big spending capacity. I think Nepal should more concentrate in promoting the tourism in this area.
But it is rather ironical that the officers in charge of promoting Nepal tourism, because they get to travel to Europe, America, and bigger countries for free at the government's cost. Probably they take it more as a leverage to travel to those countries. But that apart, Nepal had great prospects with tourism rising in 1990s. But unfortunately, we had a royal massacre in 2001, and then we had the royal takeover in 2005, and then we had a decade-long civil war. So mostly related to monarchy, which fortunately ended in 2006. But when we look at Malaysia, there are 9 sultans just in one country.
Yes.
How is it possible that nine sultans can live together and still have a constitutional monarchy?
When we became independence, we decided to be a constitutional monarch and parliamentary democracy. So we had a constitution. For your information, we had only one constitution in Malaysia, which was written before independence in 1957. Of course, we have made a lot of modification to that one constitution, amendments, to keeping up with the changing world. And in the constitution is very clearly stated what are the power, privileges, and authority of the royalties, and they have very strictly confined to that requirements as mentioned in the constitution. So we don't have any problems, In fact, the royalties in Malaysia are very much respected and revered, So we are very fortunate, to have a constitutional monarchy as well as a parliamentary democracy, and that is very successful too,
AirAsia has gained popularity as a budget airline with several connections all over Asia. Is there any possibility of having AirAsia connection to Nepal? Because that could increase more flow of exchange.
I've been really pressing hard, to bring mass Malaysian Airlines as well as AirAsia. But of course, there are various constraints in terms of availability of aircrafts and also the availability of pilots. We need experienced pilots to land in airports such as Kathmandu Airport, which is very difficult airport, Tribunan Airport.
Because of the mountains?
Mountains and also in high altitude. But I think we are making a lot of progress. Probably AirAsia might come earlier than MAS. So the information I obtained, latest information, is that probably they'll come in July, if things go well. And as you know, AirAsia has been one of the most successful budget airline in the world. They have been in operation for about 10 years in Malaysia. Over a 10-year period, they have flown about 100 million passengers. That means almost 10 million passengers per year. And they give a very competitive flight fare. And I think if they come here, they'll be very successful. And we also hope MAS can come here because there is a huge market potential in Nepal.
Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation of Malaysia, and with your leadership as well, you've been pushing for last 2 years with the Nepal government to develop Lumbini as a peace city, to invite millions of Buddhists from the world over. It's a $3 billion project.
That's right.
How is it that project moving on?
Well, Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation Malaysia is founded by a group of Malaysian Chinese who are Buddhists themselves. And they, together with AirAsia as a strategic partner, are very keen to develop Lumbini into an international peace city. Because if you look at other major religions, they all have developed their sacred cities. So Lumbini is one place, which is the birthplace of Buddha, has not been developed. So I think these people are very committed. I think they have been very successful in life, but they are very committed to religion, to Buddhism. They wanted to do something to develop. So what they have been telling me is that there are about 150 million Buddhists within 1 to 5 hours flying time around Asia. Of course, there are 380 million Buddhists throughout the world, but in Asia alone, within 1 to 5 hours flying time, there are 150 million Buddhists. So Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation and AirAsia is very keen to develop Lumbini, the whole of Lumbini, including the airport, as a low-cost hub. Because the thing is that if you develop Lumbini into an international peace city, it is meaningless. We cannot bring people in huge amount, in masses. You know. So AirAsia has very good connectivity, you know, together with Malaysian Airlines. They have very good connectivity. They fly to all the major cities in Southeast Asia and Asia. So AirAsia is very confident that they can fly in, you know, a big majority of these 150 million Buddhists. Just imagine, if we can bring in about 10% of that population annually, it's already 50 million people. So we are looking at Lumpini as a wholesale development. You know, it's a package development. We are talking of clusters. We are talking of not only hotels, you know, hotels from budget hotels to 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and also other facilities, you know, power, water, utilities, other utilities, and also the education institutions which is related to Buddhism, and also hospitals. Because I was told that many Buddhists would like to have their children born in Lumpini because the birthplace of Buddha is very significant, religiously significant for them. So these people, this Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation, they are very keen also to develop maternity hospitals in Lumpini. So I think if you look at Nepal, there are other very significant sacred Hindu sites, you know, not only around Lumpini but also in Kathmandu and other places like Muktinath and so many places, and also the birthplace of Sita, you know. And there's a place in Muktinath where if you look at Mahabharata, the Pandavas, the 5 brothers of Pandavas, have ascended to heaven, you know, from that place. So there are a lot of religious significant place. So all this can be developed, you know, as in stages.
The Lumbini Peace Project can actually change the face of the country.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a huge project, $3 billion investments with prospects of having 400 million Buddhists pilgrims visit Lumbini. Why does not our leaders, the leaders in the Nepal government, get the simple theory?
I really do not know, Santosh. When the Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation approached the government about this project, they did not go through me, you know, they went direct. And after about 3-4 months, there was no response from the government. Then they came to seek my assistance. So I've approached over almost a year, I've approached various levels of government, including the previous Prime Minister, you know. But somehow, I do not know, you know, we did not get any response at all. Although everybody has admitted that this project is a very good project and this is what Nepal needs. But somehow the capacity to respond is not there, you know. So probably the previous government was a caretaker government for almost 7 months. And also they were embroiled with their own political problems, you know. So probably that's the reason. But now I'm making my attempts to see the current Prime Minister, you know. So probably we want to give another push to this project. Because I have been to Malaysia to meet the Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation and AirAsia. They are as keen as before. They are very committed to complete this project, you know, to undertake this project. So I think I will try another attempt, you know, before I leave. I complete my tour of duty in Nepal. Hopefully this project, you know, will be successfully implemented, you know. But having said that, I think in Nepal there's enough of political revolution, you know, over a long history. Political history. I think Nepal should now move into economic revolution. So I think they should probably Lumpini is a right project, you know, to start off, because Nepal is graced with the birthplace of Buddha, as Lumpini.
That will always stay like that.
It will stay like that, as you said. And I think the Sakyamuni Buddhist Foundation AirAsia has indicated to me, getting the funds, international fund, is not a problem, you know. But of course, the ball is in Nepal's court, you know, Nepal government's court, you know. So without their endorsement and support, and also the facilitation, we can't come in and undertake this project. So hopefully, you know, all approval will be given for this project, and it will be undertaken as soon as possible.
Your Excellency, it was wonderful having you on Power Talks. Yeah. Thank you very much for
Thank you very much, Santosha. I enjoyed the interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. We will be back next week, the same time. Till then, good luck and goodbye.